Hello all, Jamie Rodgers here from Craftmania, and today I'm introducing you to this week's die of the week. Now, by now you probably know this, but every week we like to bring you a die on a fantastic special offer, and this week is no exception. We are having a little look at this beautiful die by Sue Wilson. This is the Tiled Squares die. Now, this actually has two different dies in the set. There is an outside edge and then there is an insert panel, which is sort of your filigree decorative piece. Now, you can use them together or you can use them separately. I'll show you the dies shortly, and I'll also show you 7 samples that I've created with that die set to hopefully give you a bit of inspiration on what you could be achieving with it. Now, the best bit is the price, and this week the die is incredible. This one should be £8.99 individually on its own, as it's recommended retail, but actually this week at Craftmania we have managed to get this for you for just £4. I don't think we've ever bought you a die of the week that low in price, and it's great because it's going to give you the opportunity to get hold of this one and start crafting with it very quickly to create some incredible things without having to burst the bank. Now, at Craftmania, anytime you spend over £5 if you live within the UK, your P&P is completely free. So it's not often I have to say this, but you might wish to go and find something else to go with your die of the week so you qualify for that free UK P&P. If you'd like to order this anywhere else in the world, that's not a problem. We ship all over the world and our P&P is capped at just £10. Now, of course, you might want to put a few more bits into your basket there as well, because with capped P&P, you're not going to pay a penny over your £10 to have this parcel sent to you anywhere in the world. Now, if you'd like to know more about how both our UK and international shipping works, pop onto the website and have a little look under the customer service tab, and it will tell you how it all works. Now, if you're looking for the die of the week, now we know you're going to want this and we know it's going to fly. It's been really busy already this week, and I think when you see the video and you see all of the creations in one place, it goes a little bit bonkers. So to find the die of the week and all of the items that are actually used on the cards I'll be sharing with you, head onto the website, find the little YouTube section. Now, if you're on a desktop, it'll be a bar that runs across the screen showing you all the menu items. Click the one that says YouTube. If you're on a mobile phone or a mobile device, it may have a little menu which drops down. It differs where you're sort of viewing the website from. But if it has the drop down menu, again, find the YouTube tab, and then you head on through to the YouTube section, and in there is a different box for every video that we've updated or uploaded throughout 2024. If you just click the one that says Die of the Week, it will take you through and it will show you, of course, the Die of the Week and all of the goodies that have been used on the cards and the products I'm going to be sharing with you. So let's have a little delve in, shall we, and look at what this die looks like and what you could be creating with it. So our actual die of the week, as I mentioned, it has 2 different dies in here. Approximate sizing is 12.2 by 3.3 centimetres. Now, although that is the size of the outside die, what that doesn't really tell you is how you could take this part and actually tile cut it into your project to make much larger backgrounds as well. Now, this is one of the bits I love with Sue's dies. She's so good at doing this for us. She gives us separate outside edges to our filigree panels. So as I said, this one can be multi-cut into your cardstock and it will stay there, or if you prefer, you can use the outside edge to cut round it. It also means if you do choose to cut round it and have it as a separate panel, maybe you want to put some backing card under there or a self-adhesive sheet. Instead of having to try and cut that on a trimmer or a guillotine, you can use your outside die on its own to cut that panel to go behind there, so you can put that separate or different colour or product under there. This one to me has a bit of an oriental feel to it, so I really like using this with vellums and sort of dark card as well, but of course it's down to however you want to interpret it, and it could be used all throughout the year. I also think it could come in quite handy for masculine cards. So let's have a little look and show you what I've created with this one, just as a few ideas. Now, I'll start off with this one because I love it when you can take a die and simply turn it into something much larger than you anticipated. So with this one, I've cut it 4 times and I've gone round just in a square. Now, I have actually taken a self-adhesive sheet and I've placed that down first onto a piece of card. I've then taken the 4 gold die cuts and I've placed them over the top of the self-adhesive sheet. I've then used ocean spray glitter bits, which are beautiful glitters that have multi-size particles in each jar so that the light hits them in all different directions. And I've put that over the top, burnished that down, and just let the sparkle come through. In the middle, I've then built up my little panel and I've brought in my grand butterfly die to add as the central piece. But quite honestly, this card could be used in so many different formats, in so many different colours. You know, we're in May now. I know a lot of us are talking about Christmas. You imagine doing this in your reds and your greens, putting Christmas trees in the middle, snowflakes, you know, really going quite festive. I think that would work quite nicely too. Now, I mentioned using this as more of a sort of oriental screen style. That's something I really sort of jumped on the second I see this die set, and I thought this worked quite nicely, cutting them out in black and then putting vellum behind them. I didn't really have anything oriental as such lurking in my stash, so instead I just went for some nice flowers. This is a carnation set by John Lockwood and the shadow leaves by him as well. These featured in one of our recent bundles, and I keep using these together. I think that's a really lovely set that actually works quite nicely. So if you haven't seen that video, again, look on the YouTube tab and have a little look back for the John Next Door bundles that come to us a few weeks ago, because there is one with those two dies in it, or of course you can purchase them separately. Then moving on to our next one. So this one is, again, very simple to do. Just cutting the top layers with the filigree pieces out of coconut white, cutting the reverse in bright white cardstock and layering them together. For this one, I've bought in the Sam Paul stem die. I think it's called Hedgerow off the top of my head, but again, it's on that section if you'd like to go and have a little look at it. And then I've used John Next Door flowers to go over the top of it, added on a little sentiment and a few butterflies around it. And I really like the pearls in this one. I think that really sets this one off. Then moving on, we have got for you this card. Now this, again, very simple to do. Just taking that panel, cutting it in white, popping that onto a self-adhesive sheet, cutting the same panel out of gold mirror, so you've got all of these pieces to put back inside it. Because we're on a self-adhesive sheet, I've then just placed them back into the open areas, and when I've done as much paper piecing as I wanted to, I bought in some lovely glitter. This is one of our polished silk glitters, and I've put that over the top to give a really ultra fine sparkle. I've just added a butterfly on the top and a little word that says hugs down the bottom. Again, I feel this could be used for a whole host of different occasions throughout the year, depending on what style you'd like to put it with. I also felt this one, again, with a blue, maybe you could go for a slightly darker blue, but might lend itself to your Father's Day cards and your masculine cards as well. Could also be quite fun for teenager cards, depending on what elements you put with them, because that's quite a cool modern design. Now, again, talking about how we could use that panel throughout the different seasons, this is one just taking a very similar style card, but instead using the reds and the greens to go for a Christmas feel. This time, actually, I've trimmed off the edge. Now, you might notice that on this one here. I'd cut the panel out of gold, but I decided I wanted to matte on gold, so I decided that was too thick a border to have round it and too much gold for one card, and that's novel for me because I love my mirror card and I love gold, so it's rare you hear me cutting back on it. But this one, excuse me, this one I literally trimmed it off on a guillotine, so I just kept that mesh instead. Added on some poinsettias and a little festive wishes to finish that one. Then this one's quite a nice idea. This one's creating a little tag with the die. Now, of course, the die is going to stay in the card, which isn't something I'd really shown on any of these examples, but it will stay in the card. So with this little tag, I've backed it with some black card, and I've added a white little panel on the reverse so that you could write on there if you wish to. But actually on the front here, we've got that lovely black showing through from underneath the white on the lattice. I've brought in once again that beautiful Hedgerow die by Sam Paul and added on some more of our little flowers from John Next Door as well. I also really love these pearls. You'll see I use these an awful lot. They snuck in on one of the more recent cards I just shared with you, this one back here as well. They're just a flower finishing touch that I really like because I think they're a little bit nicer than just an ordinary pearl. These come in white, cream and silver, and again you'll find them in the same page on the website. I've also used my Sizzix scoreboard. We mentioned this in one of our videos recently, but it's got this great tag punch that punches the corners, and it also has one to do the hole in the middle. So making tags could never be easier, and you can do them in any size you want to, and it's something I keep doing loads of, and I really find that's sort of encouraging me to create tags. I did think when I was doing this how it might have been nice to actually make the tag and the card coordinate, and you can see that there's not many differences, but there's a few differences, enough to sort of keep them separate. But actually, had I have done the two together, that could make a really lovely set, because I always feel that's nice. If you can make the card and the tag actually coordinate, or the decorations for the occasion, it's always a nice, elegant sort of finishing touch. Then moving on to my last card, this is my last one I wanted to share with you. Now this one's a sort of a step forward card as such. And I thought it would be really fun to show you that we could do more construction with this panel. So for instance, we might have preferred to turn that into one of my pillar cards, and we could have had that on every side of the pillar. You might actually just want to make like a little octagon or hexagon box with them. You might just want to make little small boxes. There's so many sort of fun things you could use these panels to decorate round. But for this card, it's ever so simple. I literally just took a piece of A4 card, I've trimmed it down slightly larger than the actual panel I wanted it to be in width, and then I've scored in from one end at 1.5 inch intervals. So you've got 1.5 inches, 3 inches, 4.5 and 6. The leftover bit is the bit for the card insert as such, and then these 1.5 inch steps can all fold down flat, so you can still post it if you wish to, or pop it into a little box. Now I've chose to add some butterflies onto mine, and I've also added a sentiment with a bit of depth to it, which does of course make it slightly thicker for posting, but of course you could do flatter areas if you prefer. You could also add larger panels coming out on these if there was something you wanted to add, maybe some stamped images or something similar. And of course in the middle here you could add your sentiment or your finishing touches on there too, maybe some flowers if you wanted to decorate that up further. Now if you was to repeat this twice on 2 pieces of card, you could of course take this panel, stick it on the back and have a tower of stacks coming up this side too. So you're literally going to take one as in that direction and take one in that direction, glue them together on the main panel, and it would give you the ability to have a stack of sort of folding pieces one side and the other to create like a really cool gatefold, which could be quite interesting too. The joy of sort of a symmetrical design means that it'd be quite easy to do if you wanted to, or to create a symmetrical design. I've just sort of got the one side going on here. Now if you wanted as well, you can add in more scores by just continuing down your panels. And of course, if you preferred, instead of stopping here at the 6 inch point, you could have carried on to the 7.5 and so on and so forth, and then added a panel for the back. This is all out of one piece, but you could certainly add more pieces if you wanted to create more pages or steps, whatever you wish to use them for. Now that of course, oh lastly, don't forget this is one of our dies that we also had as a die of the week recently. This was our Greek die that featured, so it's quite nice to show you how you can bring forward your die of the weeks and keep getting use out of them with our new die of the weeks as well. But a lot of these featured items that you would have seen on recent videos, I've mentioned quite a few as we've gone through. These butterflies, for instance, also come from the SysX bundle that we did not that long ago as well. So do look through the videos, do look through the pages, and don't forget to look at our YouTube section on the website to find all of the bits that we've been talking about, whether they be the butterflies, the flowers, the pearls, the glitters, the vellums, whatever it is you're looking for, all of it is in that one place. Now don't forget to grab your die, pop onto www.craftmaniacrafts.com, have a little look for the YouTube tab, go through to that, and you will find the die of the week video, and there you'll be able to get your hands on our lovely tiled squares die for only £4 instead of the recommended £8.99. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all again very, very soon. Bye for now.